Hey, what's going on, guys? Aarava here, and welcome to the start of my F1 2018 mod career mode here today in the McLaren-Renault of Fernando Alonso. Yes, it's been a while since I've driven for the McLaren team in career mode on this channel in the game, and so today we're going to be embarking on the new 2018 season here in the new McLaren-Renault. Obviously, McLaren are back. We've seen that from the real-life Australian Grand Prix earlier today, and so let's see what we can do in the game with the 2018 mods here installed. If you guys are pumped for it as much as I am, be sure to smash that like button already for the start of this new career. So yeah, we've got the 2018 mod then for this career, all the driver changes, all the livery changes, and all the credits below to the people who've made them on Race Department can be found in the description here. And we've also got a brand new spanking set of graphics that you may notice here to try and give you that feel of the 2018 season here from the brand new graphics Liberty Media have given us in the real life sport. In terms of the upload schedule for this series, it's going to be a weekly series, and generally it's going to be uploaded around the weekend or on the weekend. So if it's maybe a weekend where there's a real life Grand Prix, I think we're going to be delaying it until the Sunday afternoon or evening. If there's not a real life Grand Prix on the weekend, then maybe I might move it to the Saturday to upload, but generally just always is going to be every single weekend that an episode of this 2018 mod career will be uploaded. So be sure to turn notifications on, guys, in general, so you never miss a video, but specifically on the weekend so you don't miss any one of these upcoming ones, obviously. So let's just get straight into this by starting off with the starting grid. So this is how the starting grid looks then ahead of the Australian Grand Prix and the start of the 2018 Formula 1 season here in Melbourne around Albert Park. Yesterday, Hamilton untouchable then, and he's the one on pole position. But it's a Mercedes 1-2 in a front row lockout there. Strong showing from Valtteri Bottas as well, and they'll be the two men to beat in today's race. On the second row, Sebastian Vettel takes third and betters his former teammate from Red Bull, Daniel Ricciardo, the lead of the Red Bull pair, in fourth place, ahead of Max Verstappen then in fifth place. Disappointed to not be ahead of Vettel at least and match with his teammate there, Raikkonen, in sixth place. So the two teammates then in the third row. Then we move on to the fourth row. Romain Grosjean doing a fantastic job in that improved Haas ahead of Nico Hülkenberg, who's delighted to be in eighth place ahead of the two McLaren cars today. Kevin Magnussen takes up ninth place, and to round out the top 10 is ourselves in 10th place. We just managed to get into the top 10. Unfortunately, that does mean we have to start on the ultra soft tyres, and so it's my teammate Stoffel Van Dorn that will have a free choice in the highest position available, 11th place. Carlos Sainz really disappointed with 12th place there, and he's going to want to do better in the race. Followed by then the two Force India cars, P13 and P14. The Force Indias are probably going to be struggling all season to really get into the points, but you never know, with some luck here and there, they might be able to just about do it. Then you've got Sergei Sorokin in the first Williams car, and then alongside him, Charles Leclerc, the debutant in the Sauber Alfa Romeo, and a good performance for him to get ahead of both Toro Rosso Honda cars, who are struggling a little bit for pace, obviously in a straight line, but Pierre Gasly and Brendan Hartley, who are trying their best to wrestle the car up the grid as best they can. And then on the final row of the grid is Marcus Ericsson and Lance Stroll in the second Williams. So let's get into the Australian Grand Prix. So as you saw there, our first outing in qualifying and driving the McLaren-Renault and anger wielded us 10th place here with Fernando Alonso, so that means we have to start on the ultra soft tyres. A little bit higher tyre wear in this 2018 mod compared to the base game, so we're going to be opting for a two-stop with two sets of super soft tyres. Other teams may be able to go with two sets of ultras, but I'm going to play it a little bit safer. Thankfully, no rain to contend with, so we're going to fill up the car a little bit with fuel and hopefully attack rather than look behind us, but really looking forward to what we can do with this car. It felt really good in qualifying, actually, in terms of I can push to the limit quite a lot. We just need to hopefully have some more upgrades later on in the season to find some more pace. But here we go then to 5 red lights for the first time in 2018 for the Australian Grand Prix from 10th place. What can we do today is Fernando Alonso. We're underway as the lights go out. It's a good start there for us compared to the Haas of Kevin Magnussen on the left-hand side. Can we try and make any kind of move into turn 1, lock up on the front right side, but just about skate through into 9th place there. Want to watch out, obviously, as it closes up and pinches in on the apex there. Now can we get a good enough run on Hülkenberg, who's had a bad start there off P7, but no, Hülkenberg then dives down the inside to get his P7 back from Romain Grosjean then as he tries to go around the outside, and Grosjean and Hülkenberg go side by side still through the usually flat out right-hander in qualifying, and now I'm just trying to suss out if I have got some room to maybe wiggle with there as Hülkenberg is still trying to attack the Frenchman there. We've got a much better exit and run then on Nico, so can we try and find a move on the left-hand side? It's going to be oh so close to the grass and left-hand side. Nico outbrakes us initially, but then as we go on the apex then, and we're going to just about squeeze out Nico, and really kept it in there. Balls of steel from us to keep that car in, and we've made the pass, and already Hulkenberg then under pressure from the other Haas of Kevin Magnussen. So the two Haases on it like a car bonnet, obviously, with the improved performance for the 2018 season, but now we are in clean air, and so we'll be able to try and chase down that lead Haas of Romain Grosjean. Meanwhile, as we move on into lap 3 then, the two Mercedes still comfortable 1-2 for them. Meanwhile then, behind is Sebastian Vettel and then Max Verstappen. It's Ricciardo here in P5 that is defending from Raikkonen. Raikkonen may try and move around the outside, very unorthodox place to make a pass, but he's going to try it still side by side, and he'll try the long way round and almost gets shoved off the circuit there. Ricciardo with a big defensive move, obviously trying to put on a show for the home fans here, but Ricciardo initially, after starting in P4 off the grid, it's been a poor first 3 laps for him, and so he's looking behind rather than looking forward. But look at that, with them two fighting, Grosjean's closing right back up to them, and if these three then start to fight, I might be in a prime position to close up to all 3 of them to make some passes, so we could have some exciting times ahead if it continues like this. Meanwhile, up ahead, oh, it's a big lockup from the race leader. Lewis Hamilton is out of the Grand Prix. It looks like he's parked up on the grass, and he's not moving at all, and all of us are going to gain one free position, and so it's Valtteri Bottas, the Finn, who's flying the flag for Mercedes up ahead in first place. Now we all gain a position, so Vettel P2, Verstappen P3, it's going to be Ricciardo, Raikkonen, Grosjean, myself up into P7, and Lewis Hamilton has been disqualified from the Australian Grand Prix. What absolute scenes here today in Melbourne. That is big news then. So, Bottas, the only one now doing the job for Mercedes. That's going to be a big dent for Hamilton's championship hopes now at the start of this season. Meanwhile now, it's still fighting away into the heart of lap 4. Verstappen down the inside, tries to peek a move on Vettel. Doesn't work through the high-speed chicane. Very tough to go side by side through there, to be fair. But look at that, Verstappen darting right and then left, trying to move around the outside. Bit of a shimmy and shake, bit of contact made then. Vettel is doing all he can to try and wrestle off Verstappen from his rear end and keep that P2. You can clearly see it looks like the Red Bull definitely has the race pace here, and especially through the corners, the Red Bull has the downforce advantage compared to the Ferrari cars here today. But Vettel is doing an absolutely excellent job to defend from P2, and again now Verstappen will try it with DRS. He's more alongside Vettel this time round, but Vettel is going to keep it around the outside, get the traction, then kind of skate the curb a little bit and keep it in P2 for now. Obviously very tricky, as I mentioned, to overtake around Melbourne, and Vettel using that to his advantage quite well, and that's a big lockup then from Verstappen, and so a bit of a mistake there for the Dutchman. Might just allow his teammate Ricciardo to close up, and you can see there's a big train now being formed between Verstappen and then the last man, Romain Grosjean, and so if those 4 now start to fight, that is just going to help me even more. I mean, I said that it was going to help if 3 people fought. If 4 people fight, even more so. But for the moment, that's just wishful thinking. We still got to keep our heads down and try and close up this gap to Grosjean, and just got to hope these guys fight as we go through the high-speed chicane. Then there's a big blow up there for Romain Grosjean, and he's out of the Australian Grand Prix, and we've gained 1 more position, so we're getting very lucky today in Australia, and Alonso's luck is turning around unlike previous years. Grosjean out of the Grand Prix, only 18 runners there as he goes up in smokes, and so we're up into P6, so fantastic stuff there for us, not so much for Haas, so they've only got 1 guy flying their flag of Kevin Magnussen, so at the moment reliability not quite on point for some of these top guys here in the top 10 as we go up into Rich Mix and try and push on. Now we move later onto the Grand Prix, then 2 laps later onto lap number 7, and now we've got another little chance for Raikkonen to try and make a move on Ricciardo on the outside, gets squeezed into the wall, but it goes on the outside and on the inside for the next part of the chicane, and he's made it. Fantastic move there by Raikkonen, and he's finally done it. It took a few laps there ever since lap 4 and 5, but he's finally done it and overtaken Ricciardo. He seems to be struggling in this Grand Prix compared to his younger teammate Verstappen, who's right on the back. But you can see there, I think Verstappen's made a mistake because Raikkonen has closed right up to Verstappen there, so I think that was a lock-up from the Dutchman, and so those 3 bunching up basically tells me to come in right now. I've got my pit stop available at this lap. I was thinking about maybe continuing on for 1 more lap because my pace was pretty damn good, but now seeing ahead that Raikkonen closed that much up on Verstappen, potentially those 3 are now going to fight now as I'm in the pit lane out on this same lap. They're going to be fighting, so I thought I'd rather pit right now, try and get an undercut, and it could be even more powerful than I think if those guys fight. So we're on to our first set of super soft tyres. As I mentioned, it's going to be a 2-stop today with 2 sets of these tyres, and so we'll be going to around lap 18, I would say, lap 19 maybe, and then on to another set of red wall tyres. We just get out ahead of the Sauber Alfa Romeo of Marcus Ericsson. That's pretty crucial to get in clean air. You can see on the mini-map clearly a lot of clean air ahead, and so we can just push on, concentrate on the lap times, and try and make this outlap count. As hopefully, I'm hoping Raikkonen is attacking Verstappen as we speak, and I should be getting some time there here in the pit stops once these guys come in off their ultra soft tyres. And speaking of that, as we go on towards lap 10, we've got some cars in the pit lane here, so let's try and see where we're going to come out. We got set a personal best lap time there as we go into turn 1. There is Raikkonen's Ferrari into turn 1 and kissed the apex beautifully, and it's a great exit there, and now we're alongside our former teammate from Ferrari. Can we make this move on the inside there? It's a drag race down to the next corner. He outbrakes us, but we're going to come back in the second phase, lock up on the right tire. We're on the outside. We're going to try and hang it around, but we just don't have the downforce to make that work. We have to lift off a little to give him the room, obviously, otherwise there's going to be some contact made, and we just don't have the downforce at the moment at this stage of the season. That's why I said earlier on in the build-up here, you know, at the moment I don't really know what we're aiming for this season. We'll have to see how this race goes, and then hopefully later on in this career season we have some performance updates to the McLaren, and we'll try and see what we can really do. I mean, you know, when we get lucky we could be attacking some of these top guys, but probably wishful thinking if we're going to be attacking Ferraris this first race. But here we go now. We might be able to attack a Red Bull though as we go around the outside of now the home man. It's Daniel Ricciardo on soft tyres actually, so it looks like the Red Bull car, at least the Ricciardo, is going to try a one-stop here, whereas Kimi was definitely on super softs, I think, so he's doing a two-stop, the Ferrari cars, but looks like maybe the Red Bulls are trying to pull a one-stop off, and because Ricciardo was on soft tyres, I think that definitely helped me to overtake him there, and so we are ahead of the Red Bull. Now, many times McLaren have obviously said that their chassis is just as good as Red Bull's, and with the Renault power, we should be right up there, so at the moment that is true. We are fighting, and we are ahead of Ricciardo, but as I just mentioned, that's probably a bit more due to also the fact he's on soft tyres. But that definitely alludes to him trying a one-stop, so that might be tricky. I don't think we have the pace to pull back an entire pit stop on the Red Bulls right now, so we're just going to see how this race pans out. But we close up right now to Esteban Ocon then, who's going a lot longer on a set of super softs. Obviously he qualified well out of the top 10, so he's on this set of tyres from the start of the Grand Prix, and he's going to hold us up a little bit here. Unfortunately, we're going to sector 3. He's not doing me many favours here. Can we try and make a move? No, not quite. Into that next right-hander, you can see the dirty air kicking in. We're going to go for it. Dive down the inside of second last corner. Little bit of riding the curb action there. He's on the inside. We're around the outside. We're going to hang it around, and that's a lovely move there on the outside of the last corner on towards lap 12. Rich mix flowing, and we're up into P8, and the action's not going to be over there, because look up ahead is Max Verstappen coming out of the pit lane. It's going to be fine margins. Ricciardo tried to move on the outside there as we were looking and focusing on Max Verstappen. Ricciardo actually cheekily tried to move on the left hand side, didn't work out for him, and now with DRS we're on the front of Verstappen down the inside. We're going to try and open up the steering wheel, but Verstappen keeps his nose in there, gets the elbows out. We try the undercut and the switchback move, doesn't work out. We get a wheel on the curbing, and Verstappen stays ahead, so we've got ahead of one Red Bull. Can't do the second one, so just like real life then, we've got a bit of a Red Bull sandwich at the moment with Fernando Alonso and a McLaren-Renault here, but now we move on to lap 13. Verstappen up ahead, trying to make a move now on, I think that's a Renault, is that, of Carlos Sainz? Yes it is, and Sainz going longer at the moment on soft tyres. Actually remember, yes, Sainz qualified outside the top 10, so that's why he's on the soft tyres right now, but you can see the dirty air I got off Carlos meant that I went so slowly and got so much understeer on that right-hander that Ricciardo tried a cheeky move to the inside, and he's dive bombing me left, right and centre. We just about managed to pull that through. A bit of contact made, but all's fair there. But that's how much dirty air was affecting me through that right-hander from Carlos Sainz. So let's try and dispatch of the Renault if we can into turn 1. Getting a bit skatish there, going opposite lock momentarily as we exit turn 1. We've got DRS open. We just are not near enough to make a move down the inside there of this Spaniard, our fellow Spaniard I should say, because we're driving as Alonso obviously. So let's try and get past the compatriot here if we can. He's not doing us any favours here at the moment, and obviously he's trying to do the best job he can for his race, and it's in his best interest if he can hold us up. But here we go now. We go for a tighter turn in there on the right-hander. Doesn't quite get us the run I wanted, but we've got enough of a run to maybe try and move on the left-hand side, and this might just be a bit of deja vu, so we try and make the same move we did to Hulkenberg on Carlos Sainz round the outside. It's going to be even closer than the move on Hulkenberg earlier, and we skate through, and we've just about made that, and that is a really lovely, satisfying move there on Carlos Sainz. So we're up into P6, and now we've got a lot of clean air. Verstappen, the next car along, you can see how much time he gained there when we were stuck behind Carlos Sainz. But a lot of clean air now, so let's try and get away and just push on with our race and try and get our head down for some consistency here. Meanwhile, later on in this race, lap 16, we've got some fighting behind now. It's going to be Kevin Magnussen now, the only Haas left in this Grand Prix. Round the outside, gets a bit of contact on the wall there, but the long way round as they go into the high-speed chicane. That's a wonderful move there from the Dane, and he's up the order and ahead of the Renault, and he's now got the next Red Bull of Daniel Ricciardo to try and chase after there. So unfortunate really for the Haas guys, because Grosjean was looking really strong, but Magnussen just got a very slow start to the Grand Prix, so only now is he really coming back into this and overtaking the likes of the Renault and chasing after a Red Bull car. Meanwhile now, we were on 2 laps later, lap 18, we just, as I said, we just did our business, got our head down and try to do the best lap times we could, and now it's time to come in for our second and final stop of the afternoon. You can see the Ferrari guys out there as well, so the Ferrari pit crew also out for their second stop. So like I mentioned before, looks like everyone apart from the Red Bulls is doing a 2-stop there, so the Red Bulls are looking to try and capitalize and maybe jump the Ferrari, or I don't know, even the Mercs. I don't know what Bottas's pace is like. We haven't seen much of Vettel now since the first stint, so I really don't know what the kind of logistics can be, but we come out just behind Nico Hulkenberg then. So hello, old friend. Hulkenberg on super soft tyres. Looks like he's coming a little bit earlier than us. So we're going to have to try and get straight into the action now and try and make an overtaking move straight away on the outlap. It's touch and go though into the apex, and Hulkenberg's just got the better line there, and ultimately I just don't have the grip at the moment. Cold tyres obviously straight out of the pit box, so I have to wait to warm them up. So we're going to have to be a bit patient maybe and wait to the end of lap 19 on towards lap 20 to make this pass. And so we do move on there into the last sector through to the second last corner, getting a lot under braking, really tight on the apex there, using the fresh rubber through the last corner, going a little bit wide there. You can see the dirty air affecting me somewhat, and we wait to open DRS right now. It kind of took me a little bit of a moment to actually open it there, as I wanted to try and settle the car down. But here we go now around the outside of turn 1, and again it's going to be a fantastic little battle and a great scrap and a good overtake on Hulkenberg round the outside of another corner. This time it's turn 1, and a very unorthodox place and way to make an overtake into turn 1, but we made it happen, and we're up into P7, and now we've got a lot of clean air to try and close up to Stoffel Van Dorn actually, and Van Dorn is also trying a 1-stop along with the Red Bull cars. Meanwhile, there's Bottas in for an extra pit stop there. I don't know, I can't tell if that's his second or third of the afternoon. I think it's just his second, so he stayed out for a long time, Bottas has, and so I think he's going on to a set of ultra soft tyres, so he is confident of his tyre wear, but that means that at the moment, Verstappen on the 1-stop is going up into first place of the Australian Grand Prix. There goes Bottas out of the pit lane, then he's going to get ahead of Vettel, and he's going to be up into second, Vettel in third, Raikkonen then I think is fourth, but Bottas in second place now on ultra soft tyres is going to have to really get the hammer down and use maybe some party mode on that Mercedes car to try and close up to the Red Bull, and he does quite rapidly because we move on to lap 24 and he's already right up the back of the Dutchman here. So can Verstappen do anything to try and defend? I think it's going to be a little bit useless down this back straight here as Bottas goes the long way around the left hand side, and he's going to have to make a really good overtake work. Just about squeezes through. Can Verstappen have his nose in? No, he can't, and he's completely defenseless, and that is the domination and the downforce and the grip and the advantage the Mercedes car has over the Red Bull, and Bottas comfortably back into the lead of this Grand Prix. But Verstappen still doing a fantastic job to be there in second ahead of both Ferrari cars. Meanwhile now, lap 24, it's taken us a few laps now, but we have closed up to our teammate Stoffel Van Dorn, who's on super soft tyres as well, but he's been on these tyres a lot longer than we have, and he's got here via a 1-stop, so fair play to him. Stoffel's done a really good strategy, a 1-stop to be here, but you can clearly see I've got the pace advantage on the 2-stop to close right back up to him. But you know, with Magnussen being the car behind us with a bit of a gap there, I think Van Dorn still could be good to finish up right behind us and not fall off even further. But that is if I can overtake him. You can see we have a little look into turn 1, but can't make anything of it, so let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We still need to make the move and make it stick on Van Dorn before we talk about him falling away. So here we go now, down the inside, DRS, late dive bomb there, big lock up on the left, on the right front though, and Van Dorn's able to keep it down the inside there. We have to lift off, it's our teammate of course, so we give even more respect to him than we usually would to any other driver, and it's close margins there on the curbing where we are just ahead, but Van Dorn does really well to try and move on the left hand side. Doesn't work out though, and eventually I think that will finally be us up the order and us up into P6, but I think I'm pretty confident Van Dorn should be able to keep that in P7. So I don't know. Ricciardo's quite some way away, so I think we might just have to settle for P6. But that would be a fantastic finish for both us McLaren-Renaults, P6 and P7 in the first Australian Grand Prix here of the 2018 season. But now we move on to lap 27. We've got 3 laps to go. Now he goes Vettel from P3, trying to make a move for P2 in this Grand Prix. He's got the faster compounder tyre, better grip, down the inside, going to squeeze out Verstappen, and he is up into P2. Fantastic move there from the German to make a late move for second place there, and Verstappen now finds himself in a Ferrari sandwich once again in P3, but now I think he will be able to hold that on for P3, and Raikkonen's going to have to finish up in P4, but it's going to be Valtteri Bottas that takes the win here at the 2018 Australian Grand Prix from Vettel to Verstappen, and he's the only one flying the flag for the silver arrows as Hamilton is disqualified. But here we go, weaving across the line a little bit, and it's a happy result there. P6, P7, double points finish for the McLaren-Renault boys. Fantastic job there from Van Dorn and myself, if I do say so. Great race. Lots of nice fighting there, especially with the 2 Renault cars, both Sainz and Hulkenberg. 3 different moves made on the Renault cars, and a really satisfying ending there. So there goes Bottas though, in that lovely brand new helmet of his for the win of the Australian Grand Prix. So that's going to be a pretty big deal though for Hamilton to already be losing 25 points, not only his teammate, but then 18 to Vettel, 15 to Verstappen. We'll have to see. It's a disappointing day for Hulkenberg though. He's out of the points in P11, and to my surprise, Sergio Perez just about managed to sneak in there for P9 as Sainz also goes down the order there. And so that's the final tally result. Bottas winning, Vettel second, Verstappen third, Raikkonen fourth, Ricciardo in 5th place. Didn't see much of him after that first stint. Obviously ourselves P6, P7 there for Van Dorn. Magnussen pulls through in a pretty lonely P8 there. Perez in 9th and Carlos Sainz in 10th place. I think there's definitely more to come from the Haas and Renault guys there. They got very unfortunate, especially obviously Grosjean out the Grand Prix, but Magnussen had a very slow start to the race. The same can be said of the 2 Renault cars, as obviously they got kind of hounded by myself really and the rest of the grid as we started off that race. But those are the full results, and obviously as we move on to the Drivers' Championship, that's going to be the exact same order as the race results, so we're not going to stay on that screen for too long. We're going to move all the way straight on to the Constructors' Championship, where you can see Scuderia Ferrari lead the way, 30 points to Mercedes 25. We've got Red Bull Racing then on an equal 25 actually, so very close stuff there. Nothing in it between Red Bull and Mercedes. Then we've got ourselves in 4th there, 14 points on the board. That's very good, because I would assume that Haas will have a much stronger race next time, obviously with 1 retirement there. And as I said, Magnussen getting held up, I think he'll come back. They'll both come back stronger there. So good to get on the board, 10 points ahead of Haas there. And then Force India, as I said, impressed by Perez there to get those 2 points, to be fair to them, because they look very slow in qualifying. So I would assume Renault have a lot more to show next race then. And then rounding out, obviously, Toro Rosso, Honda, Williams, and then Alfa Romeo, Sauber team. But that has been the Australian Grand Prix then for this 2018 mod career, guys. Really fantastic first race. If you did enjoy it, guys, smash that like button. Hopefully, can we try and aim for something like 2,000 likes, guys? That would be absolutely awesome here. I really hope you've enjoyed it. You know, the mods are really good. The racing is really good. The AI seem very punchy in this mod. The tyre wear is just about correct to give us that flow, ebb and flow, different strategies. And I really hope you guys have liked the finer details, you know, the halo photoshopping, all the kind of 2018 looking graphics. I hope you guys enjoy those finer details. I'm really happy to be back in full swing of a big edited career mode finally. I kind of feel lost when I don't do a big edited thing, because I feel like that's what I'm kind of known for. That's what my channel's known for. So really glad to be back here in this state of career mode, and looking forward to doing this season, guys. And I hope you guys are looking forward to more episodes. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you are new around here, do get subscribed for weekly full-on content. I'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoy it the rest of your day. Goodbye.